The little mechanical voice pauses and repeats itself. It says, "The time is 8 a.m. This is a courtesy call." Earl opens his eyes and replaces the receiver. The phone is perched on a cheap veneer headboard that stretches behind the bed, curves to meet the corner, and ends at the minibar. The TV is still on, blobs of fresh color nattering away at each other. Earl lies back down and is surprised to see himself, older now, and the hair pulling away from his head like solar flares. The mirror on the ceiling is cracked. Silver is fading in creases. Earl continues to stare at himself, astonished by what he sees. He's fully dressed. The clothes are old, threadbare in places. Earl feels the familiar spot on his left wrist for his watch, but it's gone. He looks down from the mirror to his arm. It's bare, and the skin has changed to an even tan, as if he never owned a watch in the first place. The skin is even in color, except for the solid black arrow on the inside of Earl's wrist, running up his shirt sleeve. He stares at the arrow for a moment. Perhaps he doesn't try to rub it off anymore. He rolls up his sleeve. The arrow points to a sentence tattooed along Earl's inner arm. He reads the sentence once, maybe twice. Another arrow picks up at the beginning of the sentence, points further up Earl's arm, disappearing under the rolled-up shirt sleeve. He unbuttons his shirt. Looking down at his chest, he can make out the shapes, but cannot bring them into focus. So, he looks up at the mirror above him. The arrow leads up Earl's arm, crosses at the shoulder, and descends onto his upper torso, terminating at the picture of a man's face that occupies most of his chest. The face is that of a large man, balding, with a mustache and goatee. It's a particular face, but like Police Sketch, it has a certain unreal quality. The rest of his upper torso is covered in words, phrases, bits of information, and instructions, all of them written backward on Earl, forward in the mirror. Eventually, Earl sits up, buttons his shirt, and crosses the desk, takes out a pen and a piece of notepaper from the desk drawer, sits, and begins to write. I don't know where you'll be when you read this. I'm not even sure if you'll bother to read this. I guess you don't need to. It's a shame, really, that you and I will never meet. But, like the song says, you read this note, I'll be gone. You're so close now. It's the way it feels. So many pieces put together, spelled out. I guess it's just a matter of time until you find them. Who knows what we've done to get here? It must be one hell of a story. If only you can remember any of it. I guess it's better that you can't. I had a thought just now. Maybe you'll find it useful. Everybody's waiting for the end to come. But what if it already passed us by? What if the final joke of Judgment Day is that it had already come and gone, and we were none the wiser? The apocalypse arrived quietly, the chosen were herded off to heaven, and the rest of us, the ones who failed the test, just keep on going, oblivious, dead already, wandering around long after the gods stop keeping score, still optimistic about the future. I guess if that's true, then it doesn't matter what you do. No expectations. If you can't find them, then it doesn't matter, because nothing matters. And if you do find them, you can kill them without worrying about the consequences, because there are no consequences. That's what I'm thinking about now in this scrappy little room, framed pictures of ships on the wall. I don't know, obviously, but if I had to guess, I'd say we're somewhere up the coast. If you're wondering why your left arm is 5 shades browner than your right, I don't know what to tell you. I guess we must have been driving for a while. And no, I don't know what happened to your watch. And all these keys, I have no idea. Not one do I recognize. Car keys, house keys, little fiddly keys for padlocks. What have you been up to? I wonder if you'll feel stupid when you find him. Tracked down by the 10-minute man. Assassinated by a vegetable. I'll be gone in a moment. Put down the pen, close my eyes, and you can read this through if you want. I just wanted you to know how proud I am of you. No one matters is left to say it. No one left is gonna want to. Earl's eyes are wide open, staring through the window of the car. Smiling eyes. Smiling through the window at the crowd gathered across the street. The crowd gathering around the body in the doorway. The body emptying slowly across the sidewalk and into the storm drain. A stocky guy, face down, eyes open, balding head, goatee. In death, as in police sketches, faces tend to look the same. But this is definitely somebody in particular. But really, it could be anybody. Earl is still smiling at the body as the car pulls away from the curb. Car? Who's to say? Maybe it's a police cruiser. Maybe it's just a taxi. As the car is swallowed into traffic, Earl's eyes continue to shine into the night, watching the body until it disappears into a circle of concerned pedestrians. He chuckles to himself as the car continues to make distance between him and the growing crowd. Earl's smile fades a little. Something has occurred to him. He begins to pat down his pockets, leisurely at first, like a man looking for his keys, then a little bit more desperate. Maybe his progress is impeded by a set of handcuffs. He begins to empty the contents of his pocket out of the seat next to him. Some money, bunch of keys, scraps of paper. A round metal lump rolls out of his pocket and slides across the vinyl seat. Earl is frantic now. He hammers at the plastic divider between him and the driver, begging the man for a pen. Perhaps the cabbie doesn't speak much English. Perhaps the cop isn't in the habit of talking to suspects. Either way, the divider between the man in front and the man behind remains closed. A pen is not forthcoming. The car hits a pothole! And Earl blinks at his reflection in the rearview mirror. He's calm now. The driver makes another corner, and the metal lump slides back over to rest against Earl's leg with a little jingle. He picks it up, looks at it, curious now. It's a little bell, a little metal bell. Inscribed on it are his name and set of dates. He recognizes the first one, the year in which he was born, but the second date means nothing to him. Nothing at all. As he turns the bell over in his hand, he notices the empty space on his wrist where his watch used to sit. There's a little arrow there, pointing up his arm. Earl looks at the arrow and begins to unroll his sleeve. You'd be late for your own funeral, she'd say. Remember? The more I think about it, the more trite that seems. What kind of an idiot, after all, is in any kind of rush to get to the end of his own story? And how would I know if I were late anyway? I don't have a watch anymore. I don't know what we do with it. What the hell do you need a watch for anyway? It was an antique, dead weight tugging at your wrist. Symbol of the old you that believed in time. No, scratch that. It's not so much that you've lost your faith in time, is that time has lost its faith in you. And who needs it anyway? Who wants to be one of those saps living in the safety of the future, in the safety of the moment after the moment in which they felt something powerful, living in the next moment in which they feel nothing, crawling down the hands of the clock away from the people who did unspeakable things to them, believing the lie that time will heal all wounds. It's just a nice way of saying that time deadens us. You're different. You're more perfect. Time is three things for most people, but for you, for us, just one. A singularity. One moment. This moment. Like you're the center of the clock, the axis on which the hands turn. Time moves about you, but never moves you. It has lost its ability to affect you. Well, what is it they say? That time is theft? Not for you. Close your eyes and you can start all over again. Conjure up that necessary emotion, fresh as roses. Time is an absurdity, an abstraction. The only thing that matters is this moment. This moment, a million times over. You have to trust me. If this moment is repeated enough, if you keep trying, and you have to keep trying. Eventually, you will come across the next item on your list.